I learned this song from my mommy. The little girl played the piano, and the lonely CEO froze. The lobby of the glass tower never paused for anyone. Shoes clicked like metronomes against polished marble. Elevators sighed open and shut, and voices floated through the air in practiced confidence. It was a place built for momentum, not memories, and yet, on that late winter afternoon, everything stopped. Because of a song. Ethan Blackwood was walking fast, as always. The CEO of Blackwood Financial hadn't slowed his pace in years. His phone was pressed to his ear, his jaw tight, his mind already 3 meetings ahead. "No, I don't care what the board thinks," he said coldly. "If they wanted sentiment, they shouldn't have hired me." His reflection followed him along the mirrored walls. Tailored suit, silver at the temples, eyes sharp and empty in a way that money never seemed to fill. That was when the first note slipped into the air. It was soft, uncertain, almost shy. Ethan barely noticed it at first. The lobby had a piano near the waiting area, decorative more than anything else. No one played it, no one ever touched it, until now. The second note followed, then the third, and something about the melody made his stride falter. His conversation trailed off. "I'll call you back," he muttered, ending the call without explanation. The music wasn't perfect. The timing wavered. A few keys were pressed too hard, others too gently, but the tune itself, the tune carried something fragile, something old, something that reached into places Ethan had sealed shut decades ago. He turned slowly. A little girl sat on the piano bench, her feet dangling far above the floor. She couldn't have been more than 6 or 7. Her dark hair was tied back with a faded ribbon, and she leaned forward in complete concentration, her small fingers carefully finding each key, as if afraid the piano might disappear if she pressed too hard. People had started to notice. A receptionist froze mid-step. 2 executives paused, coffee cups hovering in the air. Even the security guard near the entrance leaned against the wall, suddenly still. The girl didn't look up. She played as if the room belonged only to her and the song. Ethan felt his chest tighten. He knew that melody, his breath caught, sharp and painful, like stepping into freezing water. His vision blurred, just for a moment, and the noise of the lobby faded until there was only the piano and the echo of a memory he had spent his life running from. "No," he whispered, so quietly no one heard him. The girl reached the chorus, her fingers trembling slightly. She hesitated, corrected herself, and kept going. Determination replaced fear on her small face. A woman rushed in from the side entrance then, a young mother by the look of her, coat worn thin, eyes wide with panic. "Lily," she hissed, hurrying toward the piano, "I told you not to touch anything. I'm so sorry." She just wandered off for a second. The girl stopped playing and looked up, cheeks flushed. She smiled, completely unafraid. "It's okay, Mommy," she said brightly. Then she turned back toward the keys and added, almost proudly, "I learned this song from you." The words hit Ethan harder than the music. "Learned this song from you." His knees felt weak. The mother froze when she saw him standing there, staring as if he'd seen a ghost. "Sir, I'm really sorry," she said again, pulling Lily closer. "We were just waiting for my interview upstairs. She loves music." Ethan didn't respond. His eyes were locked on the piano, on the small hands resting on the keys, on the melody still hanging in the air like a question that demanded an answer. That song hadn't been played in over 20 years. Only one person had ever played it for him, and she had died with a secret he never knew to ask about. Ethan took a step forward, his voice barely holding together as he asked, "Where did you say she learned that song?" The mother hesitated, and in that pause, the past began to claw its way back into the present. The mother shifted uneasily under Ethan's gaze, as if she could feel the weight of something she didn't understand. "From me," she repeated softly, pulling Lily a little closer. "I used to play piano before life got complicated." She forced a polite smile, the kind people wore when standing too close to power. "It's just an old lullaby. I'm sorry if it disturbed anyone." An old lullaby. Ethan swallowed hard. That was what she had called it too. The lobby slowly returned to motion. Someone cleared their throat. An elevator chimed. The spell cracked, but for Ethan, the world had already shifted. He gestured to the security guard with a distracted wave. "It's fine," he said, his voice steadier than he felt. "Let them stay." The guard nodded, surprised, and stepped back. The mother blinked. "Sir, thank you. Lily, say thank you." "Thank you," Lily said cheerfully, then tilted her head and studied Ethan's face with open curiosity. Children didn't know how to hide their questions. "You look sad," she added matter-of-factly. The words landed with uncomfortable accuracy. Ethan gave a tight smile. "I'm just tired," he said. It was the excuse he used for everything he refused to feel. He turned to the mother again. "You said you have an interview upstairs." "Yes," she replied. "For the cleaning department, evening shift." There was no shame in her voice, only exhaustion. "I couldn't find anyone to watch her today." Ethan nodded absently. His eyes drifted back to the piano. "What's your name?" he asked. "Anna," she said. "Anna Rivera." The name meant nothing to him, and yet something about the way she stood, straight, backed despite worn shoes, protective but calm, stirred a faint familiarity he couldn't place. "And the song," he said carefully. "Where did you learn it?" Anna hesitated, just for a heartbeat. "From my mother," she said finally. "She used to play it when I was little. Said it helped her remember who she was before the world told her who she had to be." Ethan felt as if the floor had tilted. His mother had said those exact words. He remembered the small apartment filled with afternoon light, the piano tucked against the wall, his mother's hands moving gracefully despite the arthritis that had already begun to creep into her fingers. He remembered sitting under the piano, listening, feeling safe in a way he never would again. He remembered the night the music stopped. "I didn't know anyone else knew that song," he said quietly. Anna offered a small, sad smile. "My mother said it wasn't famous, just something she learned when she was young." She glanced at Lily. "She passed away when Lily was very small." "I'm sorry," Ethan said automatically, but the words felt heavier than usual. Lily tugged on Anna's coat. "Mommy, did I play it good?" she asked. "You played it beautifully," Anna said, brushing hair from her daughter's face, "just like Grandma used to." Grandma. Ethan's heart pounded so loudly he was sure someone else could hear it. "Did your mother?" He stopped himself, suddenly aware of how intrusive his questions sounded. A powerful man interrogating a stranger in his own building. He straightened, retreating behind the mask he wore so well. "Never mind, I shouldn't pry." Anna relaxed slightly, nodding. "It's okay." The elevator doors opened nearby, and a woman stepped out holding a clipboard. "Anna Rivera," she called. "That's me," Anna replied quickly. She looked at Ethan again. "Thank you for your kindness, sir." Lily waved as they walked away. "Bye, sad man," she chirped. Ethan almost laughed, but as they disappeared into the elevator, something cold settled in his chest. The melody replayed in his mind, each note pulling at threads he had deliberately cut. That song had come from only one place, and if Anna's mother had truly taught it to her, then the past Ethan thought was buried might still be breathing. He stood alone in the lobby long after the elevator doors closed, staring at the piano as a single terrifying question formed in his mind. Who was that little girl? Really, Ethan didn't return to his office. For the first time in years, he stood in the lobby long after everyone else had moved on, as if leaving would somehow break whatever fragile thread had just been pulled loose inside him. The piano sat silently now, its polished surface reflecting the ceiling lights like watchful eyes. He stared at it, remembering how his mother used to close the lid gently after playing, as if tucking the song in to sleep. Impossible, he muttered to himself. He had buried that chapter of his life so deeply that even thinking about it felt like betrayal. Betrayal of the armor he had built to survive. His mother had been a dreamer, a musician, a woman who believed love mattered more than security. And she had paid for that belief with abandonment, illness, and a quiet death in a city that never knew her name. No one from her past had ever come forward, No one except his thoughts were interrupted by a sharp voice behind him. "Sir, was there a problem earlier?" Ethan turned to see Margaret Hale, his executive assistant of 15 years, holding a tablet close to her chest. She knew his moods better than anyone. Her eyes narrowed slightly. "You missed the board call." "I know," he said. "Reschedule it." She blinked. "Ethan, are you feeling all right?" He didn't answer. Instead, he asked, "Can you pull the application details for a woman named Anna Rivera, interviewed today?" Margaret hesitated. "That's not standard procedure." "I'm aware," he said coolly. Something in his tone told her not to argue. She nodded once. "I'll see what I can do." As she walked away, Ethan exhaled slowly. He told himself this was just curiosity. Coincidence. A familiar melody played by chance. That happened sometimes, didn't it? But deep down, fear had already begun to take shape. That evening, long after the building emptied, Ethan finally returned to his office. The city spread out below him in glittering indifference. He poured himself a drink he didn't want and stared at a framed photograph on his desk, the only personal item he allowed himself. A young woman sat at a piano, laughing as she turned toward the camera. Her eyes were bright, hopeful, alive. "Mom," he whispered. He hadn't spoken to her in years before she died. He'd chosen ambition over late-night calls, distance over discomfort. When the hospital tried to reach him, he'd been in a boardroom signing a deal that would make him millions. By the time he arrived, she was already gone. The guilt had hardened him. Success had kept him busy, and loneliness had become familiar enough to feel safe. A knock at the door startled him. Margaret stepped in quietly. "I shouldn't have done this," she said, closing the door behind her, "but you asked." She placed the tablet on his desk. Anna Rivera, age 28, place of birth, same city where his mother had lived, mother's name Elena Rivera. Ethan's fingers trembled as he scrolled. Elena Rivera, his mother's name, before she changed it. His chest tightened painfully. "This can't be real," he whispered. "There's more," Margaret said gently. Anna listed her mother as deceased, passed away 6 years ago. Ethan sank into his chair. If Elena Rivera had survived longer than he thought, if she'd built a life he never knew about, then every assumption he'd lived by was suddenly wrong. And the little girl, Lily, the image of her small hands on the piano keys burned into his mind. "Margaret," he said hoarsely, "find out where they live." Margaret's eyes widened. "Ethan, please." She studied him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "All right, but you should be careful. Some truths don't come quietly." He was already standing, grabbing his coat. For the first time in decades, the man who controlled markets and moved empires felt utterly powerless. Because if he was right, then the child who played his mother's song wasn't a stranger. She was family, and he had already lost too much time. As he stepped into the night, a single thought followed him like a warning he could no longer ignore. What if they didn't want to be found? The building where Anna Rivera lived sat on the edge of the city, where the glass towers gave way to brick walls and flickering streetlights. Ethan remained in his car for several minutes, engine off, hands resting uselessly on the steering wheel. He had faced hostile takeovers with less fear than he felt now. This wasn't a negotiation. This was a reckoning. He finally stepped out into the cold evening air and looked up at the narrow balconies stacked one above another, each one holding a glimpse of someone else's life. Laundry swaying, a dim lamp glowing, a child's laughter echoing faintly through an open window. Ordinary lives, lives that continued whether he existed or not. He climbed the stairs slowly, his footsteps heavy, his heart pounding harder with each floor. Apartment 3B. He stopped outside the door, raising his hand to knock, and froze. Music drifted through the thin wood. The same song, played softly this time, slower, more careful, a child practicing. Ethan closed his eyes. For a brief, almost unbearable moment, he imagined his mother standing on the other side of that door, alive, smiling, calling him inside. The illusion shattered when the song ended abruptly, followed by a small groan of frustration. "I keep messing up." Lily's voice complained. "You're doing great." Anna replied gently, "Remember, the song isn't about being perfect. It's about feeling it." Those words struck him with cruel familiarity. He knocked, the music stopped, a moment passed, then the door opened just a crack, Anna's face appearing weary and tired. Recognition flashed across her features. She said quietly. "I'm sorry," Ethan blurted, the words tumbling out less polished than anything he'd ever said in a boardroom. "I know this is inappropriate. I needed to talk to you." Anna studied him for a long moment, clearly weighing her options. Lily peeked out from behind her, eyes lighting up. "It's the sad man," she exclaimed. Anna sighed. "Lily, go sit on the couch." "But, please." Lily shuffled away reluctantly. Anna opened the door wider. "5 minutes," she said firmly. "That's all I can give you." The apartment was small but warm. Family photos lined the wall. Lily at different ages, Anna smiling tiredly beside her. And there, in one frame near the piano, was a photograph that made Ethan's breath hitch. Elena Rivera, older, thinner, but unmistakable. Anna noticed where he was looking. Her voice softened despite herself. "That's my mother." Ethan nodded, unable to speak. "She raised me alone." Anna continued, folding her arms protectively. "Worked 2 jobs, played piano at night when she thought I was asleep. Music was the only thing that made her feel like herself." Tears burned behind Ethan's eyes. Did she ever talk about the past? He asked carefully. "About someone she left behind." Anna stiffened. "Why are you asking me this?" "Because," he said, his voice breaking despite his effort to control it, "I think your mother was mine too." Silence fell like a heavy curtain. Anna laughed once, sharply. "That's not funny." "I'm not joking." She shook her head, anger flaring. "My mother was abandoned," she said, "left by a man who chose money and ambition over her. She never even said his name. Why would you come here and say something like that?" "Because I was young. Because I was afraid. Because I thought success would make the emptiness go away. But he didn't say any of that. I didn't know." He said instead, "I swear to you, I didn't know she was pregnant. She disappeared from my life before I could stop her. By the time I tried to find her, it was too late." Anna's eyes glistened, but her voice remained guarded. "You expect me to believe that now, after all these years?" Lily's small voice drifted in from the couch. "Mommy, why are you crying?" Anna wiped her face quickly. Ethan turned toward the child, and in that instant he saw it. The curve of her smile, the familiar intensity in her eyes. His heart shattered all over again. "I don't want anything from you," Anna said firmly, stepping between him and Lily. "We're fine. We've always been fine." Ethan nodded slowly. "I won't force myself into your life," he said, "but please, let me prove the truth." Anna hesitated, torn between anger and a grief she had never fully named. Finally, she said, "Tomorrow. I'll give you tomorrow. After that, we're done." The door closed behind him moments later, leaving Ethan alone in the hallway, shaking. Not from cold, but from the weight of what might be real. Because tomorrow wouldn't just bring answers. It could take everything he thought he understood about himself and tear it apart. Ethan didn't sleep that night. He sat in his penthouse with the lights off, city noise humming faintly below, his mind replaying every moment of the past 24 hours. Lily's voice, Anna's anger, the photograph of Elena smiling from a frame that didn't belong to him. For years, he had told himself his mother's story ended in loneliness and regret. But now, the possibility that she had built a life, had chosen to protect it from him, cut deeper than any accusation. At dawn, he was already dressed. When Anna opened the door the next morning, she looked exhausted, as if she too had been awake all night wrestling with memories she never wanted to examine. Lily stood behind her, clutching a stuffed rabbit, eyes curious but cautious. "Come in," Anna said quietly. They sat at the small kitchen table. No coffee was offered. No pleasantries exchanged. The air between them was heavy with restraint. "I didn't tell Lily why you're here," Anna said. She just thinks you want to hear her play again. That would be an honor, Ethan replied softly. Anna took a breath. Before anything else, I need proof. He nodded. I've already arranged a DNA test, he said. Fast-tracked. The results should be back today. Anna's eyebrows lifted in surprise. You don't waste time. I've wasted enough, he said honestly. They waited in silence. Lily climbed onto the piano bench and began to play again, her fingers more confident now, her shoulders relaxed. The melody filled the apartment, not as a performance, but as comfort. Ethan felt tears slip free without his permission. Grandma used to smile like that when she played, Lily said suddenly, glancing back at him. Like she was remembering something nice. Anna's throat tightened. She said the song helped her remember love. She murmured, the doorbell rang. Ethan's heart slammed against his ribs. He checked his phone as the lab notification appeared. His hands shook so badly he had to set it down before opening the message. Anna watched him closely, fear and hope battling in her eyes. Well, she whispered. He swallowed and turned the screen toward her. 8% probability of biological relation. The room seemed to tilt. Anna stared at the screen, her breath hitching as the truth settled in. She pressed a hand to her mouth, tears spilling freely now. My whole life. She whispered. She said I had a brother. She said he was lost, not gone. Ethan's knees gave out, and he sank into the chair, grief and relief crashing together. I was lost, he said brokenly, and I never stopped regretting it. Lily hopped down from the bench and approached them, sensing the shift. Why are you both crying? She asked. Anna knelt and pulled her into a hug. Because, she said through tears, we just found family we didn't know we had. Lily turned to Ethan, studying him seriously. Does that mean you're my something? Ethan smiled through tears. If you'll have me. He said gently, I'm your uncle. Her face lit up. Like in storybooks. Like in storybooks. He agreed. But even as warmth spread through the room, a shadow lingered. Years of absence couldn't be erased by a test result. Anna's expression hardened as she stood again. This doesn't fix everything, she said. You didn't choose us back then, and Lily doesn't need disappointment. I know, Ethan said quietly. I won't ask for forgiveness, only a chance to show up consistently. Anna nodded slowly, then we start carefully. As Lily returned to the piano, Ethan realized this wasn't the end of the story. It was the beginning of the hardest chapter yet. Because love reclaimed would soon be tested by fear, pride, and the world he still belonged to. The first weeks were careful ones. Ethan didn't try to buy his way into their lives. He didn't send gifts or make promises he couldn't yet keep. Instead, he showed up quietly, consistently. Saturday mornings meant sitting on a worn couch while Lily practiced piano. Weekday evenings meant listening as Anna talked about work, about exhaustion, about how hard it was to raise a child alone in a city that never slowed down. And for the first time in his life, Ethan learned how to slow down too. But the world he came from didn't appreciate his transformation. Whispers began in the office, missed dinners with investors, board members questioning his focus. Margaret watched him one evening as he canceled yet another high-profile event. They're saying you've lost your edge, she warned gently, that you're distracted. I am, Ethan said simply, by something that matters. The tension reached a breaking point when a tabloid headline hit the screens. Billionaire CEO's secret family. Questions surround Blackwood's judgment. Anna saw it while waiting for the bus. Her face drained of color as she folded the paper, Lily tugging at her coat. Mommy, why are they talking about Uncle Ethan? Fear surged through her. She had spent her life avoiding exactly this, being exposed, dissected, judged by people who didn't care about the truth. That night, when Ethan arrived as planned, Anna met him at the door, anger barely contained. This is what I was afraid of, she said. Your world doesn't just touch, it destroys. I didn't leak anything, he said. I swear. I believe you, she replied, voice shaking. But belief doesn't protect Lily. The next day, the board called an emergency meeting. You're compromising the company, one member said bluntly. This family reunion makes you look unstable." Ethan looked around the table at the men and women he had built his empire beside. Then perhaps stability isn't what we should be measuring. They stared at him, stunned. "I won't choose power over people again," he continued. "If that costs me this position, so be it." Silence followed. That evening, Ethan stood outside Anna's apartment again, but this time she didn't open the door right away. When she did, her eyes were red. "I don't want Lily to grow up thinking love comes with conditions," she said softly. "Are you sure you can handle what staying means?" He knelt in front of Lily, who watched him solemnly. "I missed too much already," he said. "I won't miss any more." Lily considered this, then smiled and took his hand. "You can stay," she declared, "but you have to listen when I play." Ethan laughed softly through tears. "Deal." Yet even as he stepped inside, uncertainty loomed, because sometimes choosing love meant losing everything else, and the final test was still waiting. The morning light poured through the small apartment windows, casting warm patches across the piano and the scattered music sheets. Lily had insisted on playing before breakfast, her little fingers moving confidently across the keys, the melody echoing through the space like sunlight threading through glass. Ethan sat on the couch, watching her, drinking in every note. For the first time in years, his chest felt full, not with ambition or control, but with something gentler, something real, family. Anna stood behind him, arms crossed but a smile tugging at the corners of her mouth. "You're learning patience fast," she said softly. "I'm learning a lot from her." Ethan replied, nodding toward Lily. Lily looked up, eyes shining. "Uncle Ethan, will you play with me?" Ethan rose and slid onto the bench beside her. His hands hovered over the keys, hesitant, then touched them, producing a sound that was shaky at first, but soon found its flow. Together, the three of them played, piano filling the apartment with harmony, with laughter, with memory. It wasn't perfect, notes stumbled, fingers fumbled, but that didn't matter. The song wasn't about perfection. It was about connection, about love, about reclaiming what had been lost. Every key they struck together stitched wounds the years had left open. Then came the sound of the apartment door opening behind them. Ethan turned and saw Margaret, holding a folder with an official Blackwood seal. Her eyes softened as she observed the scene. "I think the board will understand," she said quietly. "Some things matter more than business." Ethan nodded. "Yes," he whispered, more to himself than anyone else. He watched Lily lean against Anna, tiny head resting on her mother's shoulder, and felt the warmth of belonging he had chased all his life finally wrap around him. But healing wasn't just about reunion, it was about facing the past. Ethan turned toward Anna, voice steady, voice earnest. "I can't change the years I wasn't there," he said, "but I promise I will always be here from now on, for both of you." Anna studied him for a long moment. Then she smiled, tears glistening. "Actions, not words," she said simply, and he understood. Actions had to speak louder than apologies. The piano swelled again under their fingers, carrying the song of love, of second chances, of a past redeemed. The notes danced in the room like memories freed, lifting the weight that had kept Ethan's heart in chains for decades. Later, as the afternoon sun waned, Lily ran to the window and pointed. "Look, the city's shining for us," she exclaimed. Ethan looked out over the skyline, the same one he had spent years conquering, and realized he had conquered nothing until he found this family, connection, the fragile, beautiful music of life itself. Anna stepped close, placing a hand on his arm. "Thank you for coming back," she said. "Thank you for showing up." Ethan smiled, his eyes meeting hers with a quiet intensity. "Thank you for letting me." And then, in that apartment that smelled of piano polish and faint sunlight, Ethan understood something he had never truly believed before, that redemption doesn't arrive in a boardroom, or in wealth, or in power. Redemption arrives in moments like this, in a child's laughter, in a song remembered, in a family rebuilt. Lily began to play again, and Ethan leaned closer, letting the melody wash over him, letting the music tell the story words never could. The song that his mother had once played, now played anew, carried not only memory but hope. Every note was a promise, every pause was forgiveness, and every harmony was love reclaimed. Outside, the city continued to move, relentless and indifferent. But inside that small apartment, time slowed, hearts healed, and a lonely CEO learned what he had been missing all along: that life's true fortune was not in empires or wealth, but in the small, unrepeatable moments of connection that no amount of money could ever buy. Ethan reached out, gently taking Lily's hand as she played, and felt the quiet miracle of being home at last. He looked at Anna, and for the first time in decades, he didn't see loss. He saw hope. He saw family. And he saw a future built on love. One note, one song, one day at a time. The piano sang, and so did their hearts.